Welcome everyone to the Atomic Cinema Experiment. I am Peter, and joining me as always is Tara.
Greetings, citizens.
I don't know why I gave a dramatic pause.
I don't know either.
I don't know. It's one of those weird nights. It's late. You're basically already drunk. I'm sleep deprived. So it's going to be a loopy one. I think that's okay.
I'm not drunk. I mean, I got a good buzz on.
This is a science fiction movie podcast, and we are doing a special episode. This is part 2 of the top 50 sci-fi movies of all time as voted for by our audience. So we did numbers 26 to 50 on the last episode, although it was the other way around because we count down from the bottom, because that's just how you do a countdown. And this episode is going to be numbers 25 through number 1. And just like the first half, this is premiering on YouTube, so if you're in the live chat, hello for the premiere. But for everyone else watching or listening after the fact, welcome to the show. I will recap the full 50 before we get to number 1, of course, but we won't dilly-dally too much. We'll just get into it. We'll get into the top 25, as voted for by you guys, some of which we're going to agree with, some we're not going to agree with, and then maybe there's some that will be a bit more...
I intend to agree with everybody. That's my intention. So don't let me down, people.
Yes, well, we'll see. We'll see if you do agree with everyone as we go through this. You ready for number 25?
Yes.
Number 25. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm just used to doing Babylon 5 on this night that we're recording. But I really wanted to go the years 2021, and number 25 is... It's not Babylon 5. Number 25 is Gattaca!
Cool.
Which we have not reviewed yet.
No, I actually haven't seen it in a long time. I watched it... I want to say I watched it in, like, high school science class. Like, the teacher just was really excited to share a newish movie with the kids, and maybe we learned something. But it was quite good.
You learned that there were some piano pieces that took 6 fingers to pull off.
That's right.
Or
yes.
Or technically 12. Technically 12 fingers.
Yeah, I do remember that.
No, Gattaca's a great movie. Gattaca's one that I don't think I disliked it when I first saw it, but I was maybe just slightly young at the time. And I remember sort of rediscovering it when it happened to be played on TV, like maybe in my later teens, and being like, hey, this is actually really good. Like, this is a really solid little movie that's got some really cool sci-fi ideas. And, you know, I've since seen it a few times again, and, you know, I bought it on DVD, I bought it on Blu-ray. I'll probably buy it on 4K when it's on sale on iTunes at some point. And
it's hard to deny Jude Law.
I mean, I'm more of an Ethan Hawke guy than a Jude Law guy, but... I mean, Ethan Hawke was, of course, in the hit film Explorers, and at least you forget.
I haven't forgotten that. He was so cute.
He has a lineage. He has a lineage back to my childhood, does the Hawk. Ethan the Hawk.
Yep. Yes, and Uma.
And of course Uma, yes. Tarantino's...
Beatrix Kiddo.
Yeah, one of Tarantino's favourites. Yeah. No, I mean, it's one of those... it's kind of a grounded sci-fi. It's kind of a look at the near future. It's a look at... of course, society and how we discriminate against people, and it kind of shakes up what those discrimination parameters are, and sort of is about how in life we should be free to try. We shouldn't say someone can't do something for any reason, no matter what that might be. So it's a very, very hopeful at its core. Got a lot of heart to it. Good performances, good music. I love the score. So
people trying to break out of the machine. It's kind of like the Matrix, I guess, that way. Where for so many people, like, this society that they live in is working great for them, but the ones that it doesn't work great for, we just ignore them.
Yeah. So Gattaca's number 25. Number 24 is District 9.
Cool. I mean, I really love this movie, but I know you love it a lot more.
I thought you were going to say that. I love this movie, but I know you don't like it that much. What are we talking about? I love this movie.
No, you love it more.
I do love it. There's something about the aesthetic of District 9 that just plays to me. It's also one of those movies where I knew nothing about it when I sat down to watch it and like fell in love with it as it was going on. And that only happens, once you're past maybe the age of 13, that happens rarely, right? It's very rare that you go in completely blind, you know nothing, because at least you've seen a trailer, maybe you've heard buzz. I didn't hear buzz. I didn't know anything about this movie. I just discovered it, and it blew me away. It was just phenomenal.
Yeah, it was probably around the end of like when people just, let the TV decide what to watch for them instead of. I mean, maybe you saw this in the theater, but there is a time now where if you want to watch something from a long time ago, you're going to have to like look for it instead of stumbling upon it on TV. So that's just a feeling that you're probably going to have less and less of.
Yeah, but nowadays, like, someone has to kind of like gauge you to a certain, a friend has to say you need to watch this, and then maybe you go in blind that way. Or
I do IMDb rabbit holes. That's how I find movies now.
Sure, yeah. I will look at best of lists, obviously, but that's not completely cool, because at least in that case I know someone appreciates it. Someone said it was great because it's on a best of list. But yeah, sometimes I'll if I find a movie I like, I'll go down I'll say, okay, what else has this director done? I'll maybe start ticking off a few more of those. Or honestly, like, for me, in many ways, a lot of how I discover movies now is because I'm like, well, I want to review something different for content, so what theme can I do? And I'll use it as an
but
excuse.
you're still looking up films that way. Like, I watched a movie I wanted to see this weekend called The Last Detail, and there's an actor in it, Otis something, and I was just looking under his filmography, and there was a movie from the 70s called The Clones that I'd never heard of, and I said it was on Tubi. I'm like, I'm just going to see what this is, and that's like the closest I can get now to just stumbling upon a film.
Yeah, that's a good example. Danny. So it's just this one of those things that sense of discovery, and this movie, like, as much as people might detract from his later films, Neil Blomkamp, that is, who directed this, for fairly, I would say fair reasons. Well, I still got something out of his later films. I do agree that they are much weaker than District 9. I don't think the thing you can't argue against is the aesthetic of his, like, CG and visuals, and how he makes, like, aliens and alien, like, robotic tech look. Like, I love it. It's got this kind of colorful but grimy look to it. I kind of love how everything in the movie looks. I love what's his face, the actor?
I never remember his name.
Shale Copley. He is wonderful in the film.
He is, yeah, definitely. He is such a standout.
It's such a good character arc, but then you also have the great stuff, like, when you get hyped up for the use of various alien weapons and tools that are there. Because if you don't know the premise of District 9, it's basically a bunch of aliens, like, showed up on Earth over Johannesburg, and because the poster kind of sets up the theme of the movie quite well. It's like, if aliens show up to Earth, movies always go, well, what are they going to do to us? But no one ever says, what are we going to do to them? And it's the idea that we treat them like absolute shit, and they're in effectively like a shanty town, and then there's plans to put them into something that sounds more like a concentration camp, and it just, it's dealing with all these things, and it's really good stuff. It's a wonderful film. I always recommend District 9. 2009 is the year that sci-fi came back for a number of reasons.
Trek.
I mean, the Trek reboot's there, but Trek reboot's not even like second or third on my 2009 sci-fi list. Like, that's how good 2009 was for sci-fi coming back. So
it was just nice that when a Trek movie came out, that people were like, have you ever heard of this Star Trek stuff? It's actually pretty good. And I'm like, yeah, been trying to tell you forever.
Yeah, but then Into Darkness came and dampened it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a 10, but
it's not still a 10. Oh, by the way, this is a good time to plug. If you go to the Spreadshirt link in the description, there's a new shirt. There's a new shirt that's called They're All Tens, inspired by Tara's completely unbiased opinion of Star Trek.
Hey, I'm an expert on the subject, so people can trust me. They're all 10s.
Yes, so there's a new shirt in the store. I might even put it on the screen if I remember to find this and do it. So that is number 24, District 9. Number 23, we're going back to the 80s. and it's another one that we have not reviewed. This is telling me that we have done a good job of not just doing the big classics, because there's a lot in this list we've not reviewed yet, which I'm happy about, because it means there's a lot of things to look forward to. But
That's
number
right.
23
We're not greedy.
is The Fly from 1986. David
Very cool.
Cronenberg's The Fly with
Brundle Fly.
two very extremely attractive 80s people. And I say that
Yeah.
because I wouldn't necessarily... I mean, Jeff Goldblum still pretty pimping in the 90s. Let's be honest, Jurassic Park Jeff Goldblum is a hunk. But like Gina
I would agree with
Davis,
that.
Gina Davis in the 80s is a very,
yeah, she
very
was something
attractive
else.
woman, right?
So
So
like a brick house.
so them merging and all of their sexy scenes in The Fly is like there's more of a merging with them than there is with Jeff Goldblum and the titular Fly.
Love is a very strong theme in that film.
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
It's a great film with some good arm wrestling.
Yeah, don't you see a bone come through the arm?
You do. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it in a long time, actually.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it for October.
Sure. Yeah. The Fly's it's a good character movie for someone who's this fairly nice and gentle scientist who goes darker and darker as the movie goes on because of the experiment. that
powerful, yeah.
It messes with his mind, and yeah, it's a good slow burn sci-fi thriller, I would say.
With a lot of body horror.
Yes, a lot of good practical effects. All that body stuff is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Really good stuff.
Probably lots of slime, lots of goo.
Just incredible amounts of
Goo.
goo. Yes. So
That's not going to be a t-shirt, right?
well, no. I was actually referencing a bit of a catchphrase that we already have on the streams, and there's no way I can put that in a t-shirt. So
It might be our bestseller.
I'm not going to explain what that catchphrase is, but check out Mail Fuzz Live. I'm shilling a lot of things today. Check out Mail Fuzz Live for the live streams that I do with watch parties and stuff. So that's The Fly at number 23. David Cronenberg's weird romance movie. Next up, number 22 is Serenity. Don't you make a face. Don't you make a face.
Boo.
How dare you? This is a
And I'm
phenomenal
not saying
film.
boo earns.
This movie is one of the best, if not the best, theater experience I have ever had. The emotional roller coaster I went on in this film is so well written. It is a phenomenal payoff to a great series. How dare you be distracted whilst I'm talking about Serenity?
I have nothing to contribute.
The characters are so lovable and likable and witty, and the way they bounce off of each other. Every interaction means something in that film. It juggles like 9 characters so well. There's a great villain. It's funny, it's thrilling, it's sad. Everything. I'm going to leave it there because there's literally almost a 3-hour review of Serenity that I did with Connor that you can find. So
Oh boy, what a miserable time.
I went through that and
3
dissected it
hours.
scene
I bet it's like reading Ready Player One again. Ugh.
by scene. How dare you? How dare you? Okay, we'll just leave it there. But it's fantastic and absolutely belongs to be on this list. Could be a little higher.
I mean, it's not my list, so
Could be a little higher, but at least it's in the top half. So I'll stay of execution for all you atomic cinema nerds.
what's 21?
Number 21 is the original Godzilla.
Ooh. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, fantastic film. We did a a kind of a cool thing where we talked about both this one and the original King Kong together, and that was fun. And yeah, I mean, I've seen it many times. Still good, still great.
Yeah, no, I love the original Godzilla. It's the only one that I would describe out of the ones I've seen anyway as like a proper horror movie where it feels like a threat, where you feel the catastrophe of the whole thing. The music, the black and white helps with the the limitations of the suit and the effects of the time. There's still some obvious toys here or there. Don't get me wrong. It's not it's not completely squeaky clean, but it doesn't have to be. Those shots, Godzilla walking in the water with the fire behind him. Oh my, come on, that's cinema, baby.
Yeah, I always like when he first makes the appearance over the hill.
It's like he's getting up from a nap. He's like, "Hello, what's going on here? Oh, puny humans, how dare you!"
I had a friend who told me if you watch Godzilla backwards, it's about a lizard that rebuilds Tokyo before moonwalking into the ocean.
I'm pretty sure you cracked that joke on the review.
It's funny.
And I let it hit with the lead balloon at the time as well. And I have done so again. I'm not selling that joke. I'm not selling that joke.
Put it on a t-shirt.
You don't even see him walk out of the water. There's no moonwalking.
It's still funny.
You see him hide behind a hill. That's what you'll see in reverse.
That's right. That is when he first popped out.
Oh dear. All right, number 20 is Galaxy Quest.
Oh, cool.
Never give up. Never surrender.
Never surrender. Did you just watch that documentary?
I did. I watched it like last month. Yeah, or maybe 2 months ago.
Yeah, Galaxy Quest is awesome. So fun, and so like, especially if you're a fan, this type of fan who knows that your devotion is to a show is ridiculous, but like does it anyway. You know, it's a little eye-opening, I guess.
Do you know
when I watched it.
That's what I think so impressive about it, is that it could very easily be a parody that makes fun of nerds. Like, you know, like people often...
It's a celebration of a thing we love.
I've heard people talk about Big Bang Theory and about how that should be for nerds because it's all about nerds. And I'm like, no, that show hates nerds. Nerds hate Big Bang Theory because it's insulting. Galaxy Quest is a love letter to nerdy people. It's a love letter to fan bases of something. It's a love letter to all those things. Like, it obviously...
And to actors.
Yeah, and it starts off obviously with like a sort of crummy attitude towards it, but it's all about learning to love and respect those elements and how that actually ultimately saves all the characters, and it's wonderful. And the cast is top to bottom is insane.
Oh yeah,
wonderful cast.
Yeah, it's it really is like almost a behind the scenes of like fandom, but also like you get to see the perspective of the actors, like the actors who are really into it because they just love attention, actors who feel like they deserve better, actors who feel like they didn't, like they're just riding the coattails. You know?
So hold on, in that order, Shatner, Nimoy, and then maybe Scotty. I don't know. James Doohan. Yeah. Is that the order we're going with? Look,
yeah, maybe.
I think it's a phenomenal film. It's one that worked for me before I'd ever seen an episode of Trek. It's one that worked even better once I'd watched some Trek. Honestly,
yeah,
it's the best Star Trek movie.
Over a motion picture, huh?
I think so. It may be my favorite Star Trek movie.
I mean, it's a great Star Trek movie. I think that there was an actor from Star Trek who said that when they watched it was like, why didn't we make this movie?
It was it
was about us.
It was Spiner. Cause I just watched it. I just watched that documentary.
Oh, yeah.
It was him. I'd forgotten, by the way, when they got to the sad part at the end when we were talking about Alan Rickman's death, I'd forgotten that they'd all just like signed up to do a TV show for Amazon.
That's right, yeah.
And then he passed away, and obviously they just said, no, we're not doing it without him. If it can't be all of us, we're not doing it. And I'm like, oh no, we almost had a TV show with this cast back. You bastards.
Yeah. And
and the sad part is that, a lot of like stars come back for roles they're clearly too old to play. The beauty of this premise is it didn't matter. It didn't matter how old they were, right? If anything, their age could play into the jokes because they're like joking about how they're still playing these characters even though they're
sure. Like even
old.
When you watch like Star Trek 5 or whatever, you're like, okay, all these people are the same crew after like 30 years. They still have the same jobs on the bridge, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. None of them got promoted.
Yeah, it's so funny. You watch Uhura in the background go from like the young attractive woman, and then you get to like the later Star Trek original movies, and she's clearly had like a bunch of kids by this point. She's like, you know, like maybe in her 50s.
Michelle Nichols.
Yeah, which is not the only point I'm making is it's just so weird that she's still in this exact same position all these years later. Her life has changed so much in the real world, but
still has that little Frankenstein bit of metal sticking out of her ear.
But yeah,
it's great. I love it, especially as like someone who grew up in Star Trek fandom. Like my dad took me to conventions when I was a kid, and I always felt like I was afraid to be fully into that crowd. What are you doing?
That's the clap. The aliens do.
Oh, okay.
No, I did that. Sorry, did I do that? Maybe did it sideways.
Yeah,
did it sideways. Sorry.
Okay. I still have buttons and stuff from when my first conventions and autographs. But like I always was afraid to like be a part of that crowd, but I also secretly wanted to be. It's a tightrope you walk when you grow up a Star Trek fan. You don't want to tell too many people or the wrong person.
Well, like Rathbar's hammer, I will avenge you.
Thanks.
So
I had some bullies. I'll give you a list.
So that is number 20. Number 19. We have reviewed this one. Number 19 is Blade Runner.
Oh, we have reviewed this.
Not favorably.
Isn't that funny? Like, Blade Runner is just it's just a movie I keep going back to saying I should like it. Not just like it, I should love it.
I don't think I've given a movie more chances than I have Blade Runner, because like I think it's because it does look so good, it sounds so good, the technical qualities, the direction is really good, but that script is so boring.
Yeah. And you know the love story, which is supposed to be the linchpin of the whole thing, like
no chemistry,
terrible.
no chemistry, almost rapey at points. The whole
very
thing is
rapey, very just like aggressive. Yeah. And
it's the sad part is I love what it's going for, and it's why that famous monologue at the end from Rutger is so good, because that scene is amazing on its own. That scene, I just wish the rest of the movie was like the same movie as that scene. Because it would be amazing.
Yeah. I do love the world though, which is why I'm a big fan of the sequel, is because like, a director and a better script. I don't want to say a better director, because Ridley Scott is really good, but like, but somebody who knows what to do with this world, how to make a compelling story.
I don't think Ridley Scott's the problem. I think this is a script problem. This is just like what the actual story of the characters are doing. They're going for this like noir type story, but it's just so dull, and the investigation is so dull. It doesn't, like, none of it's entertaining or engaging.
Maybe I've rated it unfairly, but like, and in another rewatch, maybe it'll go up a little bit. But I just, like you said, I just give this movie so many chances, and every time I'm like, I just don't like it. And there's like 4 different versions of it.
The visuals, the music, the technical, things, the effects, all of those things are absolutely wonderful. I want to love anything in this world. Unfortunately, I find myself so bored almost every time for the majority of the runtime. Like, the intro's great, the ending's pretty good, but there's just a lot of stuff in between that that's just dull. Like when he goes to talk to someone at a bar, which leads him to the weird strip club place, which leads to the chase with the woman who wears like the see-through raincoat. Like, all of that is so boring. Like, I can't believe just how dull it is. I know I'm shitting all over it. I shouldn't be. It's a top 50 of all time, baby. Everyone. But people obviously love it. There's a fan base for this movie who stand by it, and they've gotten it this high on the list. So,
yep.
Fair play.
I understand. Yeah.
Fair play.
I know that I am an outlier. You are an outlier when it comes to Blade Runner.
I don't know if it's. I think there's enough people who feel this way that it's more divisive. I don't think it's a majority thing. I think it's more of a 50-50 thing. Because Carr doesn't like it that much either. Connor's kind of lukewarm on it, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And I've definitely had other reviewers say they're not that hot on it. So.
Okay.
But hey ho. That's Blade Runner at number 19. Number 18 is Arrival, starring Charlie Sheen.
Huh.
No,
I
I'm
like
kidding.
that movie.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Their knees bend backwards so they can jump really high.
I've never seen Arrival starring Charlie Sheen, but I'm sure we'll do it someday. I'm sure we'll do
Yeah,
Arrival
totally.
someday. But of course, this is the Amy Adams, Denis Villeneuve, Jeremy Renner film, which introduced me to that Max Richter track, which then played again in multiple other things, and I'm like, oh yes, it's just the Max Richter song. But yes, this is one of those rare sci-fi movies where aliens come down, but it's about first contact, it's about communication. It's kind of, in many ways, it's the modern answer to Close Encounters, and imagine having your main character be a linguist in the film and having it be about deciphering the communication barriers and the debates that come out. This is a sci-fi movie for people who love Star Trek, like not current Star Trek, like classic Star Trek. This is a movie for people who want to talk about the more diplomatic and the minutiae of how to actually achieve, and obviously the risk of like, if we can't form some sort of connection, there might be some sort of conflict. We have to like solve this in time.
Yeah, and such a cool vision of the like aliens and their technology and their ship. Anyway, like and a movie that really, really benefits from a rewatch also. Which
is funny because I've only seen it once, and we will be reviewing this later this year. We plan to do Villeneuve's films before Dune, and you know, we're in August now, and that's out in October, so
it's coming up.
Yeah,
so we'll probably watch it pretty soon. But yeah, I watched this movie in the theater, and then like went back the next night and watched it again.
Yeah, no, it's great stuff. It's just one of those things where I've been so up and down in Villeneuve's films, and I know that's not a popular statement with a lot of like modern day film nerds, because film nerds tend to love him, right? Because he has a very good director.
I love him, yeah. I know you don't like Sicario, but I like it a lot.
That movie did nothing for me. I was it did nothing for me. But hey, you know what? I'm not gonna love all of them. That's okay. But I like.
Well, we'll review it when Tim has another baby.
I like Arrival. All right.
Not that there's any plans. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Apparently, if Tim has a second baby, we have to review Sicario. I don't know how that happened, but apparently that's the statement that's been laid down.
Calling it. Put my foot down.
So Arrival at number 18. Number 17 is one we reviewed, and it's one we reviewed not that long ago. Number 17 is Predator.
Seems a little low. But okay.
I don't think most people would think this. I think people will probably think this is just about right or too high. I think we both love Predator. I think you love Predator to an insane amount, even more than I do. And as a result, you're like, this should be like top 5. Why is Predator not up there?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't give it the 10, even though it is a favorite of mine. But yeah, I love Predator. Predator is like the perfect Arnold film, the perfect sci-fi film, perfect action film. It's kind of like everything.
It's a slasher movie, but instead of a bunch of dumb teenagers, it's the most badass team of badasses that I've ever badassed.
Yep, against the most badass alien.
Yeah,
the really badass design.
The fire design's great. Yeah, Stan Winston working his magic. He came in and fixed the first mess they had and said, "No, we're not doing that crappy thing. We're going to do this." And
makes you think about like people who go out and kill innocent animals to feel powerful. Well, how do you like being the target now? How about that?
How did we review that whole movie and you never once brought up this like sort of like angle of, you know, vegans love this movie because it's kind of showing you for the hypocrisy of the whole thing.
Well, I was saving it for Predator too.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, it's wonderful. One-liners, the action's fun. We just talked about it for like a while, so you know, it feels redundant to go over it again. But Predator's phenomenal. But just on the design, you know, I was watching Quiet Place 2, which that review should be out by the time this goes out. And I'd forgotten what the monsters in that look like. And obviously it's not a sci-fi movie, but it's a monster. And
big vagina heads.
When I saw the monster again, I went, this is just a smaller, but it's just the Cloverfield monster / Super 8 /
same.
Yeah, that same thing. It's just the same thing. The head's slightly unique because it's doing its own little thing, but other than that, it's the same design.
Like, this is what an alien looks like after the year 2000.
Yeah, why does every movie with a monster use this stupid design now? It's weird. It's so
I don't know.
bland. I mean, that's
It's like it was made by a committee. Like, this is what something that we should be afraid of looks like, and this is what we'll use as the template.
I thought of it because, like, even though the Predator's humanoid, he's so distinct and he's so iconic and memorable.
He's got like a crocodile like colored body, where it's sort of like this light yellow on the inside and it gets a darker green on the outside. It looks like a villain, you know.
Has there ever been another alien that's had its own technology? So it's like a smart race that has technology that's not been that's been memorable and not been just stupid because it's in a B movie. I don't think I can think of any.
Independence Day? I don't know. No.
Nah, because I mean they've got ships, but I mean like actual stuff they wear or tools they use or like stuff. Because
I can't think of anything.
All I could think in my head is I Come in Peace, the Dolph Lundgren movie we did as a bonus episode, where the guy's got like a CD launcher.
Yeah, that's true.
That's his like weapon. He's got like a CD launcher.
That was a cool weapon.
It was fun. It was for a fun movie.
Yeah, Far Cry New Dawn has something similar, and it's really fun. It's fun to use in a video game too.
Oh yeah, I mean I've definitely used like buzzsaw guns in video games before, which is effectively the same thing.
Although Far Cry 6 I think has an actual CD launcher. Oh. That's going to be in it because it plays the Macarena in the trailer. You shoot Macarena CDs at people. I guess maybe there'll be an upgrade where you get other songs.
Maybe you can connect it to a Spotify account and you can just have it randomly select from your library.
That's funny. But anyway, yeah, you're right. Like it does have like really cool tools and alien tools and technology that you can sort of like piece together what it's doing, even though it's not like anything we've seen before.
And it does that thing where it starts off obviously very mysterious. We get these weird POV shots, but as the film progresses and we see more of him, we learn more of him, it kind of starts to get like a bit of a personality by the end, where, you know, by the time he's like, you know, I'm not going to spoil anything, but just by the time we get to the final showdown, there's a bit of a personality that's kind of formed and implied by just these simple little things. It comes down to the script, and definitely I think probably McTiernan's direct. I think McTiernan is the linchpin that made Predator really special. Obviously the cast are great, but I think he's the one who made that film work. McTiernan like deserves all the praise in the world for Predator being as good as it is.
Totally.
Because how many movies have we seen with people in a forest or jungle that have been trash? Like almost all of them. So very good stuff. Very good stuff. Number 16. Near and dear to both our hearts. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Okay, very good. Broke the top 20. That's okay.
I'm happy with that.
It is a new movie. It's hard to put new movies like high up, you know, because they don't have the reverence behind it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few in here. Obviously, you know, I think it's a testament to science fiction that there is a nice mix of new and old. Typically, whenever you get some of these things, Dawn, I think that entire new trilogy is phenomenal. I think Dawn is the best of the three, and
totally.
Like I was super impressed and surprised by how good Rise was, but when I left Dawn, it was like I just saw like a special film. I just saw something that I'm going to be talking about forever.
It was a religious experience.
It was. And I remember being a little bit worried because it's a different director, maybe it won't be as good. And it's like, oh, this is even better than the last one.
Yep. Give me all of his movies.
Why were they wasting Matt Reeves remaking like a foreign film that didn't need to be remade? They should be doing stuff like this.
And Batman's.
Which, you know what? That trailer is good. I mean, I like that trailer.
I like Matt Reeves.
We don't need more Batman movies really for a long time, but I can't deny I love that trailer.
I am excited that we're getting a Riddler also.
Sure. Riddler, we're getting Penguin as well in that movie.
Oswald Cobblepot.
Yep. Old Aussie. Aussie Cobby.
Is that what the comic nerds call him?
No, I made it up just there on the spot.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not part of that crowd.
But Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is this film. It's a tragedy where you want these two sides, the apes and the humans, to find peace, and like it feels like they're maybe getting it, but there's just someone villainous on both sides of the thing that just ruin it and turn it into a conflict by the end. And it's you care like it's heartbreaking watching that movie.
It's a little too real, isn't it?
It's so real. It's so real and heartbreaking.
Yeah. Can't we all just get along? No. There's always going to be assholes.
Such a good. I mean, Planet of the Apes at its core was obviously a science fiction that had a lot of analogies, and it was a parable for certain things. I think the new trilogy lives up to that, you know, because I think with the original films, you had that in the first movie, and then it just kind of came like B-movie schlock after that. Like, right? Maybe there's some things you could kind of ascribe to things, but for the most part, it was just sort of silly sequels after that. Whereas the new trilogy, every single one of them is like rich with something to say, and it's rich with what it's representing. And I will shut up because we're obviously going to review these at some point. We reviewed the first 5 movies already, and we're taking a break for a while doing some other franchises, and then we'll come back with the Tim Burton
just because we don't want to watch the...
I know. we know we can't get to these new ones without going through the Tim Burton one first, and I really don't want to watch it.
Maybe it's better than I remember. I remember there was a video on YouTube going around called like Planet of the Apes. Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes is good, actually. So
yeah, but there's stuff like that on YouTube for every movie. You know, actually, I think you'll find that Superman 4 is actually a masterpiece.
Well, I enjoyed The Quest for Peace, but
I mean, I get a kick out of it as a bad movie, but it's not a good movie.
It's fun to watch. I liked it when I was a kid. I mean, the guy with the nuclear man with his radioactive fingernails.
Not nuclear, scary. Not nuclear man. Nuclear man. Yes, because that's how Gene Hackman says it. Who, by the way, there's a photo of him this week at 91. He's healthy. He's enjoying life.
91. Wow.
He's because he's been retired since like 2003. So he's had like almost 2 decades of just quiet retirement to enjoy. So I mean, good for him.
It's such a good list of films. You know, he did a lot. He gave us a lot. And he gave us Crimson Tide. He's no prouder
than Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
That might have been like a contract thing.
Yeah. So that's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes at number 16. Wonderful, wonderful film. Can't recommend that trilogy enough.
Everything we talked about it and not anything else.
Number 15.
Top 15.
Number 15 is The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, okay.
Which, you know what? I'm going to give a slow clap here. I could not be more prouder of our audience for not having this in the top 10. The fact that this didn't crack the top 10.
I mean, honestly, I was thinking this might be number 1.
Yeah, so was I. I thought that this might get number 1 before we started like getting votes in. So this says to me that while obviously a lot of people who watch us don't necessarily share all of our opinions, it does say to me that my dislike of Star Wars in general has curated an audience that at least partially agrees with me.
I mean, it's number 15. I don't know how much you can take for credit here.
Almost any other nerdy group in the internet, Empire is going to be number 1. There's not even going to be a competition. It's like Empire's going to win.
Or somehow The Dark Knight.
Not a sci-fi list.
I know. Somehow it would make it on. That's what I'm saying.
So, I mean, that's not to shit on Empire itself, though, because I actually do think Star Wars and Empire are good movies. Although I think Star Wars is better than Empire, but I'm not.
I agree. Star Wars is my favorite.
Because I'll say my controversial thing about Empire Strikes Back and get it out of the way. The Yoda stuff, not that great.
So good. Oh, you're so wrong.
Not that great. All that Dagobah stuff. No. Back to the adventures of Han and Leia and whatever shenanigans they're up to. Way more entertaining. But yes, Empire Strikes Back is number 15. Did you ever see that bit? Because I clearly just want to move on because it's Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I mean I love the original trilogy of Star Wars. Star Wars is my favorite. New Hope, but I think runner up very close is Empire Strikes Back, and I like the Yoda stuff. I think it's really fun. I mean, it is a movie for kids after all that adults like too. But I couldn't disagree more. Like, the more important stuff to me is Luke's journey. So I love the Dagobah stuff and the fight with his father at the end.
Oh, the fight's good. I love how you just said the fight with his father at the end. Like, not that I'm saying you should avoid that spoiler, because everyone knows that spoiler, but it's just the way you phrased it. You didn't even say just Luke's fight with Darth Vader at the end. You said Luke's fight with his father at the end of the movie.
I guess I'm not really avoiding any spoilers by calling him his father. Although you're the one who said he was Darth Vader.
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe he's fighting a man. I don't know. Sure. Just a regular guy in a robe.
Yes. So yes, this is Empire. Empire Strikes Back. Number 15. Number 14. Rightfully beating Empire Strikes Back. RoboCop. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. 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 I'll stop. But yes.
Yeah. I mean, I would think a movie with Ed 209 would like break the top 10, but it's all right. 14's pretty good.
I like RoboCop's one that's gotten better with it. I loved it as a kid for all the reasons that a kid would love RoboCop. But watching it again as an adult and like just how well it's written, the story about this guy who loses identity and then has to fight his way back to it, like, oh my god, like that, like the final line of this movie. I don't want to spoil anything too much, but the final line of this movie, where something is said, like a character is asked a question, and when they give a response, like it is a fist pumping hell yeah moment. It is so satisfying.
And then credits.
Yes, that is it. And it's the big bold title RoboCop as well with the font. It's not just like, you know, white text on black. It's the logo just comes up big bold on the screen. So good.
And like the best sci-fi's, like the movie is showing you one thing but telling you another thing. Like there's so much satire in this. It's so smartly written, and yeah, and it's got that Verhoeven perviness to it, but it never comes across as like crossing a line. I don't know. He's so good at that. He's so good at walking that line.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch the Horny Nun movie that he's got coming out. Well,
yeah, maybe with his older age, he needs a little bit more. He's dialed it up to 11.
You watch that trailer and you're like, is this a porn? This is a porn.
Yeah, the trailer makes me blush. Very excited for it.
I'm like, I'm definitely not watching this with anyone else around. Maybe it's a little too uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll go to the theater. I'll probably be the only one there. Just a front row of dudes. And myself. In the back.
Well, why do you think they'll all sit at the front?
Get a closer look. They're there to take notes.
They're there to take notes. Oh dear. Oh, RoboCop's so good. One of the best scores, the music scores of all time, is like so bombastic and heroic. And you know, it does have the satire, but I think more importantly, it has this heart where you can truly get behind the character, and you can truly get behind what the satire is saying, and how this character is hopefully going to defy it by the end. Like, it just so good. Like, RoboCop's done nothing but get better as I've gotten older and I've been able to understand it better. It's just so good.
And it's got so much violence in it, and there's like this extra layer of cruelty behind the violence that you don't get in a lot of films, that like it just makes everything so much like just heightened emotions when you watch it. Like it's grotesque, but you want him to get revenge, and like they couldn't have picked a better guy to play the villain. Kurt Woodsmith. It was gonna come.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nah. Yeah.
Star Trek royalty.
Great. Not just him though. Also the guy from OCP, I think, is really good as a villain.
And the guy from The Blob. The one that gets bent in half by the Blob.
Is that him?
Yeah. Well, he's the one who gets melted in RoboCop.
No, not him. The sleazeball, like the guy in the business suit from OCP.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the sleazeball.
It was in a movie we just watched. What movie was that?
I'm trying to remember.
He didn't even have a line.
Oh, it's bugging me. I'm trying to remember his name. Oh god, it's not Miguel Ferrer, is it? Is that who I'm thinking of?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Miguel Ferrer.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the big boss.
Well, no, you're using Deep Blue Sea. That's what you're thinking of.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No. Miguel Ferrer. He's so good in that movie. He's so good in Twin Peaks as well.
And in Hot Shots Part 2.
I'll take your word on that. RoboCop's number 15. Or sorry, 14. RoboCop's number 14. Above Empire Strikes Back, correctly.
I would agree with that.
Number 13. I sense there might be some space from at least one half of the podcast here on this pick. Number 13 is Inception.
It's fine. It's an 8. I think I gave it an 8.
Fair enough. I love Inception. This was another one. Like, just like Dawn of the Apes, where I walked out of it and went, oh, like I need to go see that again. Like that was a special experience. I'm never going to forget the first time I got to that ending. Again, I won't spoil it here because it's in a countdown. But the first time that cut to black at the end, I will never forget the feeling of that moment and the surprisingly loud reaction from a crowd in the UK who are normally dead silent no matter what in a movie. Like that, it's not normal to hear a noise at the end of a movie, but there was an audible reaction when it cut to black at the end.
Yeah, I think if you weren't a fan of Christopher Nolan or knew exactly who he was and that he made the Batman movie before Inception, then, I mean, you became aware of him after that film because it was like a really, awesome experience in the theater. He became... I went and saw it in... I was in Myanmar and I went and saw it.
Okay. He became one of the few, maybe the only, perhaps, director who can sell a movie because of the director. Like... Christopher Nolan movies coming out as an event now. It's they sell it on as a Christopher Nolan movie. And I would say it's post
Inception.
Yeah.
That happened.
I think Dark Knight put him on this pedestal, and then Inception sort of proved that audiences would like his movies. So now everything he does, no matter what it is, any standalone film that has Christopher Nolan's name on it, like a Spielberg used to have, like Hitchcock did back. And I'm not saying he's as good, or in some ways I may prefer him to Spielberg, for example, but. I mean, I'm not debating who's better or worse here. I'm just saying that he has that same kind of like markability.
He's got that clout.
Yeah. So, it's cool. And Tarantino's kind of that as well, I suppose. You put Tarantino's name on a poster, that sells the ticket. So
he should do a sci-fi movie.
He might, but he's still talking about the next one being the last film. He's still.
And it's not the next Star Trek. God damn it! I never wanted anything so bad in my whole life.
Well, it's so funny.
For Tarantino to make a Star Trek movie.
What's so funny is that even other people who have the overlap of being both Tarantino and Star Trek fans don't want that movie because they don't think he's the right fit.
I'm like the only person. Like, come on. But that's the great thing about Star Trek is that there's so many like iterations and directors behind it, and like it's been rebooted so many times. Like just have another one, with a really great director who like obviously knows his shit when it comes to like what he's a fan of, and he's a fan of Star Trek, especially in the original series.
Yes, of course this discussion of Inception's placement turned into why Tarantino should direct Star Trek.
All right, let's send some emails. Everybody watching.
Inception has a phenomenal action, right? Inventive action. It has a very kind of like fun spin on the heist genre of filmmaking, but it has a heart. I think when we reviewed it, I love talking about like what the film's really about and the main character like DiCaprio's playing and what he's dealing with, what demons he's dealing with, and how it's about his guilt and so on. So I think it's got the weight behind it on top of being a great spectacle of a movie. So
yeah, it's got a lot of characters explaining what's going on the entire time of the film.
Well, don't hit us with the negative. Come on, right? It's a movie that needs exposition. There's a lot of it.
Yeah.
But also, it has...
And it never ends.
How's that?
Was that the gift from Hans Zimmer?
Yes. Well, Hans Zimmer sets trends, because that happened. Then for 2 years, there was Bram-style sounds in every trailer. And then Dark Knight Rises came out, and all of a sudden, chanting was in every trailer. Like, all of a sudden, like, he sets the trends.
Rise.
Yes, brother, the fire rises. Okay, so number 13 is Inception. Number 12 is Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
Not the Tim Burton.
This would bring the top 10. I don't know.
Not a Tim Burton one. I mean, it's close. I mean, 12's close enough. Like, it's just, it's on the cusp.
Yeah, but top 10 is special.
It's on the cusp. Okay.
I mean, it is still my favorite of all the Planet of the Apes movies. I love the original Planet of the Apes.
I too love it. I mean, I do think that Dawn did surpass it. I mean, I would even argue maybe even the trilogy, the new trilogy as a whole, because it's like a set, you know, I hold it as a whole higher in my, like, you know, like, I think the experience of watching those three as a series is something I like more than the original film, but the original film is very good and, you know, holds up fairly. I mean, obviously, yes, the suits for the apes aren't, you know, amazing by today's standards, but
they were pretty good at the time, though. I mean, you still get a lot of emotion through Kim Hunter and Roddy McDowell. Like, it's still a lot comes through them, and you know they're able to squint and like twitch their nose and their ears and their mouth movements. Yeah, they don't look like chimpanzees like in real life, but they look good for what you're watching.
I mean, it's a very good science fiction film. It's one that I've seen it many times now, and obviously there's tons of political commentary in it. There's a ton of just nice spins on predicaments that characters will find themselves in movies. The idea that you get this sort of, at the time, this like alpha male like actor being this guy who's treated like this was obviously a great spin. It's kind of like in the same way that we talked about Predator and how you cast Arnold in this movie where he's the underdog. Like kind of the same thing here to an extent, where you cast this, you know, alpha male of the time to be the one who's kidnapped, who's helpless, who has to try and rise up and like prove that he's, you know, worthy of fighting them and things like that. So it's an interesting.
Yeah, I do really love the casting of Charlton Heston in it also, because he is, and not just the casting of him, but like the character he plays. He plays someone so arrogant, somebody who still looks down on the apes as animals and not as equal, even though they obviously have the same intelligence as him now. And it's so much more poignant when you're looking at it as a sci-fi allegory to like America or just humans in general, and to have somebody who's just so overly confident even in the situation that he's in over his head over. So yeah, I love it.
It would equally be as good, arguably easier, to have a character who is more sympathetic, but the fact that he's still kind of an arrogant dick the entire time is maybe a perhaps more interesting take on the material. So yeah, there you go. That is number 12.
I can't believe I was able to pull the name Kim Hunter out. Good for me. I hope it's right.
It sounds vaguely right. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's Kim Hunter.
Number 11 is Blade Runner 2049.
Wow, over Blade Runner. Good job.
I do think that this is better than Blade Runner. Now, admittedly, I have some caveats with this one, but I'm about to revisit it very soon because we are actually doing this next on the show. This is the very next review we're doing, is Blade Runner 2049. So, basically...
You don't want to tell me all your thoughts now, even though I know you hate one character.
Jared Leto's character is the worst. He's a cancer, this film. Like, he's terrible.
I mean, we'll talk about it when we do the review, but like, I love this film. I think it was definitely the standout of the year when it came out for me.
He may as well just still have the damage tattoo on his head. It'd make no difference.
Wasn't that after this movie?
I don't know, when did this come out?
2017?
Yeah, so just goes 2016.
Oh, that movie was really bad.
It was really bad. I can't.
Suicide Squad was 2016? No.
Yeah. It was the same year as Batman v Superman, 2016. It was later that same year.
Okay. Well, 2017, yeah. Blade Runner.
Oh. Anything else you'd like to research mid-show? The co-host?
Suicide Squad was 2016. Okay, I'm done with my research.
I mean, I told you those things.
I was just confirming. Oh, I forgot to check if Kim Hunter was.
Oh my god, stop it. Stop. Woman, stay focused on the show at hand. What is this? Stop it.
I was right.
Focus.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to talk about it soon, so we don't want to say too much, but
Yes.
I will say that I definitely love it. I already sort of talked about when we talked about the original Blade Runner. All the scenes in like Vegas and stuff remind me of like Neverending Story scenes. They're so it's such a beautiful story about like artificial intelligence and love. It's kind of like Her. I'm sure you think that Her is better and you'll talk about it in a review, but like I do really like that storyline a lot in the film also.
Okay, that's number 11, which does mean
Wow, 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 wow. Top 10.
it is time
Yeah.
for the top 10, as Tara so eloquently is putting it.
Pew, 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 pew. Those are fireworks.
Really good fireworks when there's a caption afterwards saying they're fireworks.
Well, I did the hand thing too, like explosions.
Yes. Okay.
Let some trickling down.
Number 10.
I'm like the guy from Police Academy.
I in a sense that you're trying to do what he does and failing completely. So number 10 is The Thing from 1982, John Carpenter's. It is phenomenal.
Yes. Genuinely scary.
Dun dun.
I mean, you want Alien. It doesn't get much more alien than like something that can, like a mouth can appear anywhere at any time on a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken about The Thing many times, about the paranoia, about the practical effects, about Kurt Russell and the rest of the cast. Carpenter's direction, of course, this is one of his best movies. It is a wonderful setting in the snow, so they're isolated, they're desolate, but you have a creature that is like mutating and transforming and is like a true alien kind of, so you know, it becomes this thing. Although, to give it like a little critique, if I can, is that the doctor character in the film has a computer that gives him all these predictions, and like this computer is like working out some really weird stuff that is like no computer in the 80s was giving you predictions like this.
Is it more of like whatever John Carpenter like thinks computers can do rather than what they could actually do?
Yes, there is an 87% chance that one of your team is infected. How did the computer in 1982 like come to that conclusion?
It's just a matter of probability.
Yes. And then it looks like, oh, and if it makes its way to the mainland or civilization, like humanity will fall in X number of days. Like, that's very specific. Why does the computer know how to talk about this in this way? It's just weird.
Does he talk to the computer like this? Computer, how long until the entity overtakes humanity? Working.
No, he still types. All right. I love how Tara's like thinking,
more Star Trek references.
May not be enough Star Trek in this shit. I need to get more Star Trek references in.
Hey, maybe First Contact's made the top 10.
Oh dear. Music's great as well. While I'm on listing things that are great about The Thing.
Yeah.
But I've spoken about it so many times, and have we even reviewed this yet? Is this even on the Ace yet?
No. I don't think we reviewed RoboCop either.
No, we haven't done RoboCop. I know we've not done that. But
Nope.
okay, so The Thing's still on the to-do list. As is RoboCop. As is a number of things. Obviously, all the Star Wars movies. Oh.
Yeah, a lot of things that we haven't, that people have on this list.
We'll get to them. All right, can't hit all the classics one
We're
after.
only like a little over 2 years into this, so
Yeah.
give us some time. There's a lot of great sci-fi and a lot of not so great sci-fi that needs your attention.
Number 9 on this list, as voted for by you guys, is 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Well, clearly our audience needs to watch that movie again.
Do you know what? Anyone else would be happy their favorite movie made the top 10. Tara's like, nope, too low.
It is. There is no number that could describe that film. It is beyond rating. It is the infinity of films. I think that describes it perfectly.
I feel the number 2001 describes it pretty well, but...
Shut your mouth.
I mean, we reviewed this not too long ago. It was a really good discussion. You know, not to toot our own horn, but obviously the film's a very interesting one to talk about. It's full... I think
we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, there's a lot of theorizing to be done. You can debate about what the film is really about, what it really means. It is beautiful to look at. The Stanley Kubrick cinematography. Not that he was a cinematographer, he was the director, but like...
He had a lot of influence, though, yeah.
Yeah, lots of distinct visuals.
He was a photographer.
It's a wonderful, hypnotic film, and I know the detractors. I can already sense them in the chat. I know the people watching the premiere of this are in the chat saying it's boring, that it puts them to sleep, and to you, I say, go stick a cactus up your ass, is what I say to that.
Wow. So much violence. Not that I disagree.
Go stick a cactus up your ass and then go see Paul Verhoeven's weird new erotic nun movie.
Oh boy.
I think Verhoeven would approve of that.
Yeah, maybe.
Look, it's weird and experimental, but I like it. I don't know what he sounds like. I just did a sort of generic thing.
I think you went with Dracula.
Hey, he's a bit Dracula-esque. I wouldn't surprise me.
Well, fantastic film. Obviously 9 is too low, but like I'm glad that it's represented, and enough people probably had it at their number 1 that it was able to break the top 10.
I'm glad it made the top 10. I think it is very deserving of a spot in that tier. So yes, wonderful film. Number 8, Star Wars.
I mean, it's the best one of the Star Wars franchise.
This is what I was saying earlier. The fact that this ranked higher than Empire surprises me a little bit, and maybe suggests that our audience is a little in tune with us. At least enough of them, not all of them.
I'll be excited when we get to review these for the first time. Being able to talk about like John Williams' score. It might be the whole podcast. It's
like what is it now? Like 11 movies total.
Yeah, I guess with the 2 spin-off ones. So
it's a lot. It's a long, dare I say, trek to go through all of those.
And as much as I am a Star Trek fan, I am also a Star Wars fan. I mean, not as much, but like, I love the Star Wars films, and I love that universe. And I've read lots of the books. I haven't watched all the shows though. I only watched like halfway through season 2 of The Mandalorian. Not even halfway.
Was it boring? Was it bad?
It just wasn't as good as like people were saying it was going to be. Like I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it's a bit shit, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say it was that. But I haven't watched the animated shows either. Those, like, I know Star Wars is for kids, but when I see the animated shows, I just think, oh yeah, it is for kids. I shouldn't watch this.
Nah.
Yeah.
I would be more interested in Tarantino doing a Star Wars movie. I think that'd be really funny.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So
not as cool as like the Star Trek one.
Imagine the violent shit you'd have people do with a lightsaber. It'd be great.
What if he does? What if he's like a secret Babylon 5 fan, and he's like, I want to do a Babylon 5 movie, and I'm going to do it right.
Wait, I mean, right?
Is that what you would want?
As in, they messed it up the first time. I'm going to fix Babylon 5. I don't think I agree with that sentiment.
No, Denis Villeneuve said he would do Dune, right? Because he didn't. He just wanted to make sure it was done right. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, I don't think there used to be a new B5 movie, but you know. Well, I don't know. I don't know how Babylon 5 ends. Maybe it ends in like a great explosion.
There's always going to be more Star Wars, though. You might as well do a Tarantino one just to make it interesting. Plus, Connor would hate that Tarantino's doing a Star Wars movie, and that would fill me with so much joy. Oh, I would really contain my joy.
Who doesn't like Tarantino? Connor, why don't you like Tarantino?
If you
in the comments.
If you want a podcast episode where I sound like I'm doing an impression of the Ultimate Warrior the entire time, the announcement of Tarantino doing a Star Wars movie on the news with Connor would be where I sound like the Ultimate Warrior.
I think that's a wrestling thing.
Yes.
Okay. Wasn't that also a Yul Brynner movie we watched in the 70s?
It was, yes. There was a Yul Brynner movie called Ultimate Warrior, which was
That's alright film.
Star Wars, though. The original Star Wars is the best one. It is adventurous. The three characters are very likable. They go on an adventure. They meet each other. They bicker. They're witty. They're charming. And obviously the music's really good and all that stuff.
Super evil villain in Darth Vader.
Yes.
And cutesy droids.
It would be delightful if I could watch the original version of it. Because I've never seen the original version because I'm not that old.
I know that there is like copies going around.
I
mean, get it.
There is, but like
I've got a friend who got the Blu-rays.
I want a high quality.
I wasn't allowed to ask him how he got them.
Yeah, but are they actually in like proper HD quality though?
Yeah.
Are you sure this is not the ones where a fan has like re-edited the new versions to make them like back into the old versions?
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
Because the only time they've officially
I don't know, man. I'm telling you, like
the only time
there's like a secret circle out there where people have them.
The only time they've officially released them since Laserdisc was when they put them on the second disc of a DVD re-release, but they were still non-anamorphic, meaning they're the same quality as the Abyss, and we all know how much I feel about the Abyss and its current state and its video quality department. So this needs to happen, damn it.
Yes, I agree.
But less so than the Abyss.
Come
the
on,
Abyss is more
Disney.
important.
I'm sure George Lucas is like, okay, I'll take your deal, but one more thing to the contract. Never release the original copies. Or
it wouldn't surprise
like
me. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
He's a sod, is what he is. It's a miserable old sod.
He knows that's what everybody wants. Like, you made a masterpiece. Just let the world have it, you know?
Well, no, from what I understand, he made a movie that was then saved in editing. that is like
I mean, that doesn't surprise me, but it is still a masterpiece.
Yeah. Like, and then that's why he got Irvin Kershner in to do Empire. He didn't direct Empire or Jedi. In fact, Spielberg wanted to do Jedi. David Lynch almost directed Jedi. Now that would be an interesting film, David Lynch.
All right, save it for when we do the review.
Yes,
Original Star
Wars. Original Star Wars is pretty good. Although Star Wars as an entity has overgrown, and I'm sick of it, and I want it to go away and never come back. So, number, what are we on? 7. We're on number 7. Number 7 is Back to the Future.
Cool.
Which I have decided will be our 200th episode.
Aw, it's too soon. That episode's cursed.
Is it too soon?
It's got a death curse.
It's got a death curse. Is that because you know I watched that? I watched that like 2 days ago.
No, I know the line because you say it all the time.
Yes, Friday the 13th.
But I have seen Friday the 13th.
Yes, Friday the 13th. It's called cinema, everyone. Look it up. But we're all in the 120s. We got 80 episodes to go until we're at episode 200.
I'd say we save it for our closing of
our final episode
of the show. We'll just do the whole trilogy in one go.
No. Episode 200. We'll come back at it. We'll try it again. After that disastrous attempt. Was it because you were drunk? Was that the reason why it fell apart halfway through? I can't remember.
No. I only drink on special occasions. Today's my parents' anniversary.
That doesn't seem that special for you, but neither here nor there. Back to the Future is like the pinnacle of culture if you are of a certain age. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, I feel like Back to the Future is like a cornerstone of your identity if you're a movie nerd, because it works for people of many ages. It is a true crowd-pleasing thing. The music is phenomenal. The DeLorean's cool as shit. Martin McFly is super likable as the innocent hero. Doc's such a fun character. It's full of fun characters. And what's great about it is that while it's still relatively safe for kids, like it's not a movie you have to like shield them from. There's definitely a few little jokes here or there that work even better when you're grown up a little bit.
Totally.
When you're like,
the parents work so much better when you're older.
Yeah. And the way, just the little things like how much she clearly wants to bang her own son in the past, like all those little hints, like just come across so much better when she starts.
Do you think it's because she's a little bit self-obsessed, that she sees a little bit of herself in there? Then maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
she knows she's hot stuff. Lorraine.
I'm Lorraine. Calvin. Why'd you keep calling me Calvin? It's on your underwear.
All over your underwear.
Back to the Future's perfect. It's such a perfect movie.
It is really great. Really funny.
Oh.
And I'm really glad that they got Michael J. Fox instead of the first guy. The masked guy. What's his name?
Oh, Eric Stoltz?
Yeah, Eric Stoltz.
I love Back to the Future, right? And I think it'd be an amazing movie anyway, but I think Alan Silvestri's score is so transcending. Really, like the moments where like Doc's having that crisis where he's like realizing how much of a problem they're having, and it just goes dun 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 dun, like like in between his lines. It's just so good. Like it plays off what's going on so well.
It's got such an adventurous soundtrack to it. Yeah.
It's like so many modern movies, like they use temp tracks and stuff, so then it feels like they edit it around the music, so then when the music composer actually gets to do their job, they have to make it fit. Whereas movies from back then, for the most part, like they just write the music to fit the scenes as they're edited, and I feel like you really feel that. You feel like the composer's playing off what's happening on screen, so the pacing feels really good. I think sometimes when I feel modern movies are edited to like haphazard and quickly, it feels like it's because they've been edited to music, so they're going for this pace to match the music that we're using in the temp track, and not to like and I'm not using this to like back
all the
up
gunshots to like the drum beats.
And I'm not like saying this to be like, hey, I'm right because Nolan said it, but Christopher Nolan actually said he hasn't used temp tracks for that reason. He doesn't like the idea that he's accidentally editing to the music that he's using. He wants to edit the movie correctly, to what feels right for the scenes, and then let the composer work to that. So
I think when I'm a director, I'll do the same thing.
Yes, I concur.
And I will. My first film will be a remake of Birdemic, but I'm going to do it right this time.
I hate to break it to you, but Hitchcock kind of already did that. It's called The Birds.
The Birds doesn't have an environmental message.
Okay, so
maybe slightly, but like not like it should.
You want to do the true. I mean, step number 1: don't have characters like just casually mention an inconvenient truth.
I think I'll get Jeff Goldblum to play the mountain lion guy.
See, I think you're putting yourself into a box by thinking you need to have that character right off the bat. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah,
you're right. Nolan wouldn't do that, so I'll change. I'll wait for the right person.
That'd be a great question for a Q&A. Christopher Nolan, how would you remake Birdemic?
Do it right this time, damn it.
Here's a question. If I ask Christopher Nolan a question about Birdemic, do you think he'd know what it was?
Yes.
Do you think
he knows what the Fast and Furious movies are?
Yeah, but I mean, everyone does because they're sort of unavoidable. Whereas Birdemic's like niche enough because it's just film nerds that know how bad this bad movie. Like,
I'm gonna send him a tweet.
I don't think he's on Twitter, but go for it.
Oh, I'm not on Twitter, so I don't know.
Yes. Was that our conversation for Back to the Future? Yep. I think it was. This is a train wreck. Number 6.
What?
Number 6 is Jurassic Park.
Okay, I think I know the age range of our fans now.
Yes, that's the first statement.
No, I love Jurassic Park. I mean, Jurassic Park for me was the movie that made me a movie fan. I went and saw it in theaters. I remember there was a girl in front of me who turned around. She was so excited to tell me that this was actually a really scary movie and I should be very careful. And then turned back around and I didn't know who she was. I never saw her again. But
well, I've got a surprise for you because today you're going to reunite with that mystery girl. I'm kidding. This is Beverly.
Did you just pull an Oprah?
I thought that was more of a Jerry Springer thing, but I mean, fair enough.
I think it's more of an Ellen thing.
Is it more an Ellen thing? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't watch daytime talk show crap.
Yeah, but Jurassic Park was the movie I went and saw, and I was like, you know, I always loved going to the movies, but I think I actually am just a movie fan. Like, I love movies after that because it just like changed everything for me.
I mean, I'm sure we had this conversation when we reviewed it, and we did all the Jurassic Park movies up to date. But it was the first movie I ever saw in the theater. This was what I was taken to. At 4 years old, I was taken to Jurassic Park.
Mine was the last movie.
Back to the Future?
Yeah, but I was only a few days old or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's no way you could comprehend. You're literally...
My mother really wanted to see it.
You're a newborn baby. You were literally newborn.
She just had me on the boob the whole time, so I wouldn't be yelling, I guess, or crying. Whatever babies do.
I loved it, her memory.
My mom is such a movie fan, and I, you know, also am because of her.
Her experience of watching Back to the Future, she'll always associate like certain moments of that film of when you bit maybe a bit too hard. like every time
teeth, then.
Or whatever, but every time she gets to like a certain moment, she has like a little flashback, a little memory of that first time with newborn Tara. Well, Jurassic Park's wonderful. Needless to say. I mean, I was a young boy. Dinosaurs seemed pretty cool at that age.
Totally.
I had a lot of dinosaur toys at the time.
I had a lot of dinosaur stuff after Jurassic Park.
It was dinosaurs. Then I moved on to Power Rangers. Also, Ninja Turtles were kind of in the middle of that as well.
That was my brother's thing. I don't know. Maybe Ninja Turtles just a boy thing.
Probably, but you know,
because he's a bit older than you. And
fair.
Probably like 8 years. So like, but I guess Ninja Turtles, you know, was on for a long time.
I bet there's some little girls who love April O'Neil and like look up to her as a character.
I was a She-Ra fan myself.
I never saw She-Ra, but I mean, I've never liked fantasy crap. So
You never watched Masters of the Universe either?
I have literally never seen He-Man.
Oh wow.
It looks really,
I liked He-Man.
It looks really lame to me, and it always did, even as a kid. So
you should watch the movie with Dolph Lundgren. It's borderline sci-fi. We should just watch it.
Dolph Lundgren, and I believe Courtney Cox is in that movie, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think so.
So
that's the worst part of the movie is that they bring in like modern day humans. Ugh, it's the worst.
They always do that for movies like that. They always have to somehow like bring them into the real world or something. They
yeah, otherwise people are not going to relate to it. Like there's like a whole freaking.
It's the same with Super Mario Brothers.
There's a whole fan base. What are you talking about? Of course people are going to be into it.
Same with Super Mario
They're
Brothers.
the ones that are going to go to the movies.
They actually make Super Mario Brothers about guys in the real world who go to an alternate dimension. I'm like, just make it about the Mushroom Kingdom. Just set it in there. Who gives a shit? That said, though, right? I kind of love Super Mario Bros. The movie for how bad it is. And,
oh yeah, it's so bad.
But
it's definitely worth watching. And
like, I'm glad
it's a villain.
I'm glad it is what it is. Don't get me wrong, but from a principle level,
King Koopa. I love the Goombas. The Goombas are so horrified. When I was a kid, like those, like they really were the stuff of nightmares.
That'll be 99.99 Koopa bucks. Thank you.
Koopa bucks.
That's when he orders the pizza. Hold the lizard tail. How are we on Jurassic Park? This is you. This is your fault. I blame you.
I don't think so.
Jurassic Park.
I was talking about breastfeeding. I don't know how you got to anything else.
Because I know Bob Hoskins, I think of his head's kind of boob shaped, I guess. I don't I love Bob Hoskins. It's not all Bob Hoskins.
He was drunk during that movie.
Both of them were. They're on record as saying we got through that shit by being drunk.
That's so funny.
Jurassic Park's wonderful. Number 5 is Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Dun, 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 dun. Has Terminator come up yet?
No.
So this is not... Okay. I suspect that Terminator will still be on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Because if our audience doesn't think that it's better than Terminator, I think it would have showed up already.
I Detective Tara on the case. Yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people can't, pick a favorite. I can. I like Terminator a bit more, but like, this is, to me, like the perfect sequel. Especially as a fan of like Linda Hamilton's journey in the first film, watching what she becomes in the second is like especially like engaging, and yeah, good writing. Good job, James Cameron.
Yes. Terminator 2 is a phenomenal sequel. It ups the ante. It gives us a great new villain that also turned out to be iconic. Great score, great everything. I mean, it's just really hard about doing these best of things, especially when we've already done our own top lists. I feel like I'm just saying it's great for this reason, it's great for that reason. And we did review
That's why we go on tangents.
Yes. And we did review it, so you can go back and check all the Terminator reviews if you want. Personally, the most enjoyable part of this video is just watching slowly, entry by entry, Tara sort of sliding down the sober sort of scale.
This is the last of the wine.
Yes. You giving your thoughts on Terminator 2 definitely had a few moments.
You're gonna edit it so that I sound better, right?
Never.
Just lie to me.
Yes, of course, Tara. Of course. I'll edit that.
Thank you.
I'm
distracted because I'm watching my sister's cat, and he has been hiding under a bed for the last 5 days, but he's out now, and he's like right next to me. I don't know what to do.
I don't know. Just play it cool, I guess. He'll be fine. It's a funny sounding cat. Number 4 is The Matrix.
Awesome. Wow, number 4. That's great.
People love The Matrix. And honestly, having watched it again, because we reviewed it not long ago, I
can't fight that.
Yeah, I find it hard to argue. It's such a well-layered film full of things. We talked about it for like 2 hours. Such a good film.
Yeah, I don't remember where I placed it when we did our own list, but like I would probably put it higher after watching it again. I
don't know. I don't know if it would make my top 5, admittedly. Like this may be a little high personally, but like not in a way that I'm like going to fight it. Like it's wonderful. Yeah. So, so yeah. Well, let's leave it there. You don't have to tangent on everyone. This could just be it. That's The Matrix.
Top 3 then.
It's excellent. Top 3. Number 3 is The Terminator.
Okay. So this is again was the people who like couldn't figure out which one they liked best, so they're basically right next to each other.
Both came in a lot, obviously, both very high in a lot of lists. People tend to love both films.
I am surprised that the first one's over the second, because I think most people I talk to love the second one a bit more.
I think we have curated a very intelligent fan base. I think that's what that tells us, because we both think Terminator 1 is better than Terminator 2. And I love Terminator 2. Exactly. I grew up loving to death Terminator 2. I still love Terminator 2. But Terminator 1 is so much of my taste and who I am is shaped by how much I love the Terminator and how it handles its subject, its cyberpunk horror, its characters, the arc of Sarah Connor, the way that the Terminator's designed, the look of the future. It's basically perfect. It's basically perfect, and there's even a Bill Paxton cameo. So, how can you fault it? How...
I hope the rest of these films have Bill Paxton cameos. I suspect one more will have Bill Paxton. Is number 2 also the Mystery Science Theater movie? Because that would really please me. Thank you, audience.
I mean, I would love to say it and please you. I wish I could, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid I got some bad news. But there's good news.
Number one? Is that what you're trying to say?
I do have some good news though. Number two does have Bill Paxton in it. Number two is Aliens. Aliens! Because you said that Terminator 2 is the perfect sequel. I had to bite my tongue because Aliens is even more perfect as a sequel.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I think I would rate Aliens higher than Terminator 2. But it is, yeah, obviously it's your number one movie.
Yes, that's a fair point. Yeah. That's how you deduct that. So there you go, Aliens. We reviewed it recently for Alien Day in April, so check out those 2 hours of absolute praise.
Turns out we both really like the movie.
Yeah, turns out it holds up pretty well.
And not just Bill Paxton, like everybody in the movie.
Oh yeah, it's phenomenal. It's the start to finish. Again, much like the Terminator shaped my, James Cameron personally is responsible for a lot of the things I love and what my taste in things is. So it's a shame that
hopefully he gets back to releasing movies and not just talking about making them.
Hey, 2022 December, it's looking good.
Wasn't Avatar 2 supposed to come out in like 2016?
It was. It's been pushed back a number of times, but they've actually shot things. I've seen set photos. I've seen evidence to see the finished principal photography.
I saw some kids in a pool or something.
They saw they finished principal photography of both 2 and 3. They exist on film.
Okay.
So 2 and 3 are definitely
We're just
happening.
waiting for him to finish his 4D technology before we can watch it.
I mean, I hope he just takes a day off to like watch the new print of The Abyss so he can approve that new 4K release. That'd be delightful, Cameron, my old buddy, old pal.
He is vegan now, and he's been very outspoken about it, so I imagine his movies... I mean, they've always had this environmental message. I imagine they're going to piss some people off with the vegan message.
I mean, Avatar 1 was already pretty, like, let's not, colonize and take over forests and things of that nature.
Yeah.
It's already pretty there.
True.
So there it is.
We'll just cultural appropriation, that's all. We'll do that instead. I'm just kidding. I love Avatar.
I'm looking forward to Avatar.
Is that number one on the list?
Avatar? No, Avatar's not. Unfortunately, Avatar didn't quite make the cut. I
actually don't know what is number one. I can't think of what movie I'm missing. Oh. Go ahead.
I mean, I was going to recap the rest of the list and then reveal what number 1 was.
You could edit that out. I'm sorry. That was a mistake. Just bleep it out.
Finally, your drunkenness has sabotaged.
What?
This.
I liked guessing. It was fun.
Well, let me recap.
Just do the little bleep with the black bar over my mouth.
Yes.
And then you can face palm after. Yeah, I'm sure people already figured it out what number 1 is anyway.
Yes. I will take a note, shall I? I'll bleep that out. Okay, let me recap the list then from the top, shall I? Number 50, Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. Number 49, Gravity. Number 48, Dread. Number 47, Star Wars The Last Jedi. Number 46, The Abyss. Do it, Cameron. Number 45, The Hunger Games, for some reason. Number 44, Return of the Jedi. Number 43, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Number 42, Children of Men. Number 41, The Truman Show. 40, Ex Machina. 39, Stalker. More people need to watch it. 38, The Day the Earth Stood Still. Original, obviously. Number 37, Annihilation. 36, Her. 35, Edge of Tomorrow. AKA Live, Die, Repeat. Number 34, Total Recall. Original, obviously. Number 33, Moon. 32, A Clockwork Orange. 31, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. Try not to read into Tara yawning during the mention of Star Trek. I feel like people have a field day with that. Number 30, Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. Number 29, 12 Monkeys. Number 28, Cube. 27, Under the Skin. 26, Mad Max Fury Road. 25, Gattaca. 24, District 9. 23, The Fly from David Cronenberg. 22, Serenity.
Wait, you want another reaction from me?
I'm just giving the time it deserves.
Let it sink in. Let it marinate.
Number 21, Godzilla from 1954, obviously. Number 20, Galaxy Quest. 19, Blade Runner. 18, Arrival. 17, Predator. 16, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. 15, The Empire Strikes Back. 14, RoboCop. 13, Inception. 12, Planet of the Apes, original, obviously. 11, Blade Runner 2049. 10, John Carpenter's The Thing. 9, 2001, A Space Odyssey. Number 8, Star Wars. Number 7, Back to the Future. Number 6, Jurassic Park. Number 5, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. 4, The Matrix. 3, The Terminator. 2, Aliens. And number 1, Alien.
I buy it.
Yes, my tone there was of, well, Tara already spoiled it, even though I bleeped it out, but she could have just like said, I don't know what it is, and then kept her mouth shut to make it build some suspense.
Yeah, for some reason I felt compelled to just blab it out loud. I don't know why.
I mean, I think it says a lot that Alien and Aliens are back-to-back number 1 and 2. I mean, that's pretty monumental. And then the fact that there's 3 James Cameron films in the top 5, it says a lot about our audience and our generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I love Alien. I had it at number 3 for me on my list, and I like it just slightly more than the sequel, because the sequel is a lot of fun. But there's nothing fun about the first one. The first one is a horror film. I love it so much.
The way you said that was funny, because it was like, and there's nothing fun about the first one. As if you have to, like, Tara doesn't like fun, apparently.
No, it's not fun at all. Everything's leaking.
Oh, yeah, I love the set design. I love the aesthetic, the world that it's created.
You don't get leaky ships, you know? You don't get enough condensation in ships. I lived on a boat for 3 years. I can tell you, there's a lot of condensations. Things leak, you know.
Yeah,
that's a real thing.
Yeah, no, I'm behind you, 110%. So
we should have more leaky ships in space.
The ships are too dry.
Who do I send these emails to?
I demand more moisture on my ships and movies, Hollywood.
Yep. More leaky ships.
Which is funny, because they always do it for roads. They always like hose down the roads in movies. They're always wet. Like, so why isn't there just a guy on the sci-fi like spaceship set just with a hose, just hosing it down before every shot?
Yeah. I would like to make that job happen.
Yes.
I'll contact some people.
Yes, yes.
I live in the right area.
Of course you do.
Soon I'll have an Oscar for best set wetter.
I don't even have to crack a joke to that. I think that all the jokes that could be cracked, everyone just thought of in their head on their own. I don't need to crack any jokes.
Set wetter is hilarious.
I've
only made myself laugh like 3 times on this show. That was one of them.
What do you mean, on this particular episode or in general?
Just in general.
I don't know. I feel like you've made yourself laugh like 10 times this episode. I don't know if I believe that count. And to be fair, you're pretty drunk at this
3
point.
3 times that I'm proud of.
Okay. But yeah,
I'm proud of the baseball line in our Babylon 5 review. That one I'm proud of also.
Yeah, well, I don't even think that one was that good. And that's not to say that you don't have good jokes. You have great jokes. I laugh at your jokes
great.
all the time, but that baseball one in Babylon 5 was okay.
Oh my god, that was the best one I've ever
It was middle of
done.
the road.
Just think about baseball? Oh, come on. Anyway.
That's why Aliens is the greatest sci-fi movie ever made, according to our audience.
Yep.
Oh dear. Look, clearly, these countdowns are a little wacky. We acknowledge this.
And I will like to say that the only reason that I'm pretty drunk is because I don't really drink all that much. So
Oh yes.
just like 2 glasses of wine have really done it for me.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like these are lists that we are trying to like represent or prove. These are obviously the results coming in from people who have voted. So we don't come in here prepared to argue these. We're here to just react to them. And apparently that has descended into complete chaos today.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm very proud of people for picking Alien. I think that is a worthy number 1.
I am also glad that people voted Alien very highly. I'm okay with that fact. Of course, there's some movies I would have loved to have seen squeak on there that are a bit lesser known that unfortunately we've not convinced enough people to watch yet. Like Coherence,
Like the Blob 88.
Blob 88, Coherence, Time Crimes. There's a lot of little films that I think maybe deserve a spot over some of the things that are there, but
Maybe in another 10 years we'll do the list again.
yeah, it's the vote. So we'll see. But I don't know what countdown we'll do like in 6 months or whatever we do our next countdown. We'll have to think of maybe like a top 10 or a top 25 of a genre or something. But
Ooh, what about top 10 underrated sci-fi films?
I think there could be some gold to that. Not number 1 is obvious, of course.
Is it the one that you already talked about?
No.
What is it? Wait, don't tell me. Save it. It's Replica, isn't it?
It's to start Reveille. That's definitely not Replica. Oh dear. Well, there you go. That is the top 50 sci-fi movies as voted for by you guys. And I trust you've enjoyed this part 2 and both halves of this epic journey. And you will join us for our next regular episode, which should be coming very soon, and that is Blade Runner 2049, which was one of the movies that popped up on this list. So look forward to that, and we'll see how that goes. But I guess at this juncture, I should take the time to thank our Patreon producers. So thank you to Tyler Hess, Cindy Palacios, David Short, Board Now, Al Treisman, Christopher Moy, David Brown, and Stanley. They're our Patreon producers for the month, and I will now nervously hand it over to Tara to tell you all about Patreon.
I know. I look like George Washington right now. I have wooden teeth. Yeah, that's right. If you enjoy our reviews, please check out the Patreon page.
You can't start with "that's right" if you have another sentence first.
Let me do my flow, okay? Interrupting my flow, my energy. That's right. If you enjoy our reviews, please check out our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/MilesPlusTV. And if you donate as low as $1 per month, you will get access to bonus episodes of the Ace. You can check out what we think of films like Leviathan, Future Force, Extra, all sorts of gems. I'd buy that for $1.
Most recently, Starship Troopers 3, I believe, is the last one. So.
Oh, Marauder. Yeah, that was a fun one.
That wasn't.
You can see what we think of the Starship Troopers franchise. You know, the first one was on on the list submitted by you guys, but the third one wasn't there, notably, maybe because it's underwatched. Maybe it'll show up on our underrated sci-fi list. Click on our review and find out. Thank you.
No, it wasn't. Did you just say Starship Troopers was on that top 50?
No, Starship Troopers was.
Was it? Where?
You said it was.
I don't remember. Hold on, I'm looking down it. I'm looking down the list. I don't remember Starship. I'm looking for it to confirm this.
Oh, I thought it was in like the 30s or something.
I'm not seeing Starship Troopers. I mean, if it wasn't in the top half, I know that much. I'm just.
Oh.
I think you're lying through your teeth. That's what's happening right now.
Well, it was on my list. I guess I just heard what I wanted to hear.
Apparently so. I would.
It's not. Maybe I placed it instead of Serenity. I just put Starship Troopers over it, so it was like a good list, a list that people could take seriously.
To quote Kurt Russell from The Thing, "Cheating bitch." All right. When he pours the booze into the computer because he loses chess. Great scene.
Very impractical.
Pardon me for referencing a movie that came up today. Unlike you, making up movies that came up today.
Starship Troopers wasn't on the list. That's crazy.
Hey, the two correct Verhoeven movies were RoboCop and Total Recall were there. Those are the two important sci-fi ones.
All right, everybody, resubmit your list, and we'll do it again with Starship Troopers on there. Clearly, there was some oversight.
Oh, was there? Yeah, so some clerical error on my part, was there? Okay, that has been the top 50 sci-fi movies as voted for by you guys. Just to wrap up with the plugging part, like, subscribe, all those things on YouTube. They help out YouTube channels a lot. If you listen to the audio feed, of course, rate the podcast 5 stars and give us a review on iTunes, Podcast Addict, wherever you listen to your shows. But there you go, that is it. And if this went a bit... What the hell was that? Jesus Christ. The audio people don't know what I'm talking about, but Tara just invaded... Stop it! Stop it! Warner Brothers are going to come after us. All these Space Jam characters popping up on the screen.
The reactions that are on Skype. I don't know why they're here.
Stop clicking them. You don't have to click them.
Or Stop
clicking them.
It was the thumbs up one. It was LeBron. Cartoon LeBron.
This has deteriorated into madness. Hopefully people enjoyed the madness that it deteriorated into. If you want a more serious top 50, go back and check out our own top 50s where we revealed our own picks, because I think we tried to argue those ones a bit better.
There's no arguing here. I mean, this is voted by the people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
When I say I don't mean arguing as we're arguing with each other, but just argue our picks as in we, try and justify why we've picked the things we picked.
I'm pretty sure I just said that because it's great and I love it. Good night.
Thank you once again for joining us. Keep watching science fiction. A computer at salsa.
Yippee-ki-yay.
That's the wrong genre.